If your forehead can rest, let it rest. If it doesn't want to rest, you could put a block or a blanket under it. Press the outer edges of your hands into the floor. And then lift your right arm up and let it hover off of the floor for a moment. And then let your right arm come back down. Lift your left arm up, keep the elbow extended straight, and then let the left arm settle back down. One more time, right side, right arm up. Settle the arm down. Left arm up. Settle the arm down. Palms down. Come to your forearms. Tuck your toes. Take your knees off of the floor. Press your hips back towards your heels. Forehead is not on the floor. Forearms are on the floor. As you inhale, can you open this up into a plank? And then back to downward dog. Lift your right leg up to down dog split. And step your right foot slowly to the outside of your right hand. Straighten the right leg. Take a quarter turn to centralize yourself. Breathe in and breathe out. Take a quarter turn to come to your left side. Left knee bends. Just stay for a moment. Breathe in and breathe out. Shift your left leg back. Downward facing dog. Breathe in and breathe out. Come to your forearms and your knees. Breathe in and breathe out. Draw your hips back. Rest in child's position. Palms down. Breathe in and breathe out. Bring the outer blades of your hands to the floor again. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Palms come to the floor. Forearms come to the floor. Come to your forearms and your knees. Lift your knees up and push your hips back. It's a funny little downward dog with forearms down. Breathe in, breathe out. So this is a lot of sort of center. If, as you're in this position, you could push into the balls of your feet a little bit more. I noticed my knees were swinging out. As I do push into the balls of my feet, it fires up my midline a little bit more. From here, can you inhale to plank? And then exhale to downward dog. Inhale, elevate the left leg. And exhale the left foot slowly to the outside of the left hand. Straighten the left leg, take that quarter turn toward over here. Good. Breathe in here, and then again, come as you exhale to this bent right knee, hands to the floor to the inside of the right foot. And then let's set the right forearm down, and let's set the left forearm down. And then let's set the left knee down. What about this? I don't know if this is going to be very popular with the crew today, but let's try this. Bend your left leg, and then reach your left leg back. So if you feel like that's aggravating on your knee, immediately put a blanket underneath it. Let's do it 3 more times. Bend your left leg. Place your left foot back on the floor. Bend your left leg. Place your left foot back on the floor. Bend your left leg. Place your left foot back on the floor. Now push into the top of your left foot. Inhale the left knee off the floor. Exhale, set the knee back down. Inhale the left knee off the floor. Pull the belly in. Exhale, set the knee down. 2 more times. Inhale the knee off the floor. Exhale, set the knee down. Knee up. and knee down. Tuck your toes, take your knee off the floor. Either keeping your forearms on the floor, slip your right leg back to forearm plank, or come up to your hands and just come to regular plank. As you're in regular plank, stay there. If you're in forearm plank, belly up, bring your right hand down, your left hand down, and then let's go to downward dog. Let's do a little jumping, it's been a while. Tiptoe your feet forward a little bit, bend your knees. A little hop, feet forward a couple of inches. A little hop, feet forward a couple more inches. Either another little hop to get your feet between your hands, or step like I just did. And then drop your head and hang over your legs and hold your elbows. Please bend your knees like I'm doing here if it's too much. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Reach your arms around back. Interlock your fingers. Take your knuckles overhead. If you can straighten your legs, fine. But then let's come up into a funny Utkatasana where our knees are bent and our arms are locked behind our back, like so. Lift the chest. Breathe in, breathe out. Release the arms up for Utkatasana, arms apart, or palms together. Breathe in, breathe out. Exhale, full dive over your legs. Options for making our way back to downward dog. The first option is the only one I'll show you, and that will be to lunge the right leg back, and then the left leg back. Others of you can do jumping or chaturanga-ing or handstanding. Just do what you've got to do, people. And the rest of us will be here in downward dog. From downward dog, lift your right leg. This time, lunge your right foot between your hands. Good. Straighten your right leg. Come to centralize yourself. Quarter turn to your left. And then exhale to the left side. Hands to the inside of the foot. Left forearm to the floor. Right forearm to the floor. Right knee to the floor. Use your blanket as is necessary. And you can also use your blocks under your forearms. Some of you are like, oh man, what am I doing here? This isn't right. It's okay. You have to make it right for yourself. So you use blankets, you use blocks. I know everybody in this class practically is maybe one or two people I'm not super familiar with. Bend your right leg. So we use props and then reach the right leg back out to support us. It's obvious. Bend the right leg and reach the right leg out. 2 more times. Bend the right leg. Reach the leg out. 1 more time. Bend the leg. Reach the leg out. Now point your right toes. Bring the top of your right foot down and inhale. Take your right knee up off the floor and then place it back down. Lift the right knee up off the floor. Exhale, place it back down. Right knee comes back up off the floor. Place it back down. Right knee comes up back off the floor, and then set it back down. I kind of clumped it back down that time. I got a little tired. I'm just telling the truth. I feel like you need to know certain things. You know, the seat of the teacher. You know, we're not gurus. We're just like people. Tuck your toes under and back. Take your knee off the floor. We're all in process. Now you can do this, come to forearm plank, or, you know, you can come to plank with your hands down, like this. Either way is good. And then again, plank chaturanga, or you take that direct route back to your downward dog. Whatever it is that's most appropriate for you. And then let's do a little jumping again. So bend your knees. And your jumping might be like, this is jumping. You're going to walk. Or, maybe you already did the triple jump. And you're like, okay, yeah, I did the triple jump. I want to see if I can just bend my knees, spring my hips up, and get the feet between the hands. Either way is good. Now, lift your chest. And then again, fold over your legs. Hold your elbows. Try to do it where the other the other forearm is on top. Breathe in, breathe out. So fortify what you're doing by pressing your heels more into the floor, even if your legs are bent. Fortify what you're doing by pulling up and in through the abdominal core. It's not to look slender. It's to feel that sense of center, that abdominal center. Take the hands behind the back, interlock the fingers of the thumb on top. Take the knuckles over the head. Come to Utkatasana with the knees bent, the arms back behind you, interlocked fingers. And then soar the arms up. Utkatasana, palms apart. Utkatasana, palms together. And then we dive again back over the legs to where we came from. And then you make your way back to downward dog. I'm going to go like this. What do you want to do? Well, we'll meet in downward dog. Lift your left leg. Lunge your foot this time between the hands. Straighten your left leg and take your quarter turn to centralize yourselves again. Great. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Turn again to the right side, hands to the inside of the right foot. But what we're going to do is, I'm going to give you a choice. First thing is this. Step your left foot to the outside of your right hand and come to squat. And hang out here. Lift the chest. And then step your right leg back. So then you'll have your left leg forward. So just do that and hang out there. Or if you're feeling like I always say, like a spunky monkey, you can push into your hands, hoist your hips, and do hop switch. Up to you. So if you're in the squat, now lunge your right leg back. Okay? From here, plant your right hand on the floor, turn your chest towards your left, turn your left toes toward the left, and drop your right hip to the floor. Okay. What's going to want to happen immediately probably is your right knee is going to want to bend and you're going to want to upright yourself. So let's upright ourselves in this position, ankle to knee. Okay. So here's the thing. We've got this ankle to knee. This left leg is on top and it's also floating in my body. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to push my fingers to the floor to help leverage, to help pry. Open this hip really, in a good way, not like in a bad way. I'm going to push my fingers to drop my knee. Now some of you are like, you don't really need that. You don't need your fingers. So you don't need your arms. So go like this. Firm your arms beside your body. Firm your abdomen and just press your left leg down with the leg itself. Now my leg is shaking. Maybe yours is, I just say that. I just want to reveal to you all of all of my flaws. Like I'm shaking, I'm sweating. It's intense hands, and it's a lot. Why? How could that be good? How could that be good? Because we are all in this together. This is just, you know, this is just my job to show you these little movements. Press your leg down. It doesn't mean that in any way I do these things perfectly. It doesn't exist. Press your leg down. Keep the pressure on. Woo! Breathe in and breathe out. And if you're like, yeah, this is easy, okay. Lean forward, arms outstretched, belly in. Breathe in, breathe out. If the arms outstretched like this is still easy, take them over your head. This is enough for me. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Good. Come back up. Let's do a twist with this before we go back to where we were a second ago. So bring your left foot to the floor. And then scooch your right foot near to the left sit bone. A friend of mine just broke her wrist. So I've been interested in, like, how can I give her some sequences to do that don't so much use her arms and her wrists? And you could do this sequence without your hands, basically. Putting the foot on the floor and drawing the foot back. If you have a knee that's compromised or a hip that's compromised, you might need the support of your hands to move your limbs. Breathe in and breathe out. Lift your arms, both of your arms up. Turn as you exhale to your left leg. You can just outstretch your arms to the side and turn like so. I've got this blanket in my way. You can wrap your right arm around your left arm and turn like so. If you do that, just watch out for the tendency to rely on the strength of your arm. And still, if you're leveraging with your arm, still see if you can stay true to your midline. So you should be able to, let's say, turn your right ribs towards your left thigh as much as you can without the leverage. If you can't, you use your arms. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in. Come back to face this long end of your mat. Kick your right foot out there a little bit. Plant your right hand. So now I'm just going to lean over the right side. I'm taking weight on my right arm. That helps me lift my hip. Can you do that? I'm just taking weight on my right arm and it helps me lift my hip. Can you see it? Now, okay, now it's like a funny Vashisthasana. I'm going to kick my left foot forward and extend my right leg back. You got it? Great. So the legs might be crisscrossed in a funny way. Uncross your legs. And then place your hands back on the floor. And downward dog. You can plank and chaturanga. You can plank and chaturanga if you want to. Breathe in and breathe out. Lift your right leg when you're ready. Lunge your right foot between your hands. Straighten your right leg. Take a quarter turn to the side. Good. Take another quarter turn to the left side. So we've got this, where we can step and hold squat for a moment. Or we can belly up, jump switch. From the jump switch or from the squat, if you're squatting, take your right leg, your left leg back. Now, I'm going to put my leg on the floor and back. I'm going to turn toward my right a little bit. And then my hip comes down, my left hip comes down. I upright myself. It's a funny way to get here, but here we are. And then it's this ankle to knee. Maybe your ankle to knee is like this. If your knee is really high, you can place your hands to the floor. Even if your knee is not really high, You can place your hands to the floor. You can use your blankets. Press your fingers to affect your pelvis. When the knee is high, it has the tendency to make the tilt of the pelvis move backwards. So we want to do the opposite. We want to get in our forward bends, which is what this will be. We want to get the tilt of the pelvis to go forward. So we have to get up. We have to get up. The hip joint might be in such a situation where, based on the bones or the musculature or ligaments or tendons or whatever, that you can't get up and over yourself. So you need fingers to help you, or you need blankets to help you. If you're fine, and I know many of you are just fine, then don't use your arms. Outstretch your arms and pressurize the leg with the leg and firm the center. There's the midline, I call it a midline core, and then there's an abdominal core, and there's where they intersect. And they make the beautiful vortices in the body, the places of spiral. Lean forward, if that's okay, and take the arms overhead, if that's okay. Keep your arms firm, like, Popeye muscles. Just firm, so the muscle hugs the bone. There's a concentric contraction that spreads throughout the body. The whole of the body gets strong. The whole of the body gets strong as we do the actual physical practice, but what is the physical practice is a mind practice. This is mind training. So you bring your mind to what you're doing. You bring your mind, what was I listening to? Come back up. I did an online class with a teacher from Denver, Colorado the other night because my friend Jenna recommended it to me. I was, just trying to see what's going on in the world. Right foot flat, left foot comes close to the pelvis. And what he was talking about was like, if you if you visualize a body of light, that's what the body starts to move toward, because the mind and the body are interlinked, like our interlocking fingers. When we interlock the mind with what the body is doing, it fortifies the connection. When I interlock my fingers, I get a little more out of whatever it is. Turn, the physical movement. If you want to wrap your arm, that's why when we wrap the arm around, it's a training ground. In fact, you could draw in at first, but then can you keep it there? Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in. Oh my God, breathe out. Breathe in. Okay, stop doing that. So we lean to the left. We scooch the left foot over to the side a bit. And then, we test it out. Now, this is not going to be good for my friend that just broke her wrist because we're weight bearing on the arms. But I'm pushing my hand down and I'm lifting my hip up. Can you just practice that part of it? Then once you lift your hip up, can you kick your left leg back and your right foot comes forward? And yes, and you rearrange so your left leg isn't crossing your midline. It's in its own path. And then we go to the downward dog. You plank and chaturanga. Hey, you want to plank and forearm stand? You could plank and forearm stand if you wanted to. We did some stuff with the forearm stand prep. You could swing